Hello and welcome to the One Stop Co-op Shop, your one stop for co-op news and playthroughs. I'm Peter and today I'm playing through Marvel Champions. I am super excited. We got a preview copy of a couple of the new decks that are coming out on November 11th, 2022 if you're watching this in the future. So we got Storm, we got Wolverine, and we got Mojo Mania. I'm showing you Storm today, but if you want to see me unbox all three of those, go check out One Stop Co-op Shop Streamed. I will provide a link in the show notes and you can go over there and watch me unbox and go through every card in all three sets. I will also have them timestamped, so if you want to see certain things and not other things, you can go ahead and do that. Today we're playing through as Storm, or Aurora Monroe. She is a mutant. Aurora Monroe begins the game with a weather deck. So the weather deck is going to have 4 cards in it. I feel a storm coming. Setup. Choose a support from the weather deck and put that into play during setup. She has 3 recovery, 10 hit points, 6 hand size on alter ego, 5 on hero side, 1 thwart, 2 attack, 1 defense, weather control, action. Swap your current weather support and play with the support of your choice from the weather deck, and then resolve the special ability of the weather deck. So let's talk a little bit about this weather deck so we can see what the heck we're talking about. So these are going to have global effects. That means they're going to affect you, they're going to affect your allies, they're going to affect the enemies, they're going to affect minions. Everything is affected by this. So for Thunderstorm, each character gets +1 attack. As a special, when you're on your hero side, when you flip to this, you just do 2 damage to an enemy. We got a permanent, each character gains Retaliate 1, and you can remove 2 threat. That is for the Hurricane. We got Clear Skies over here. Each character gains Stalwart, and when you flip to this, you get to draw a card. Not too bad. And then you got Blizzard over here. Each character gets a -1 attack. So if you're not in the mood to attack at that point, and you can choose a non-elite minion, and until the end of the round, treat that minion's text box as if it were blank. That's a real nice way to clear out somebody who's got just an annoying text box. We're going to start with our +1 attack Thunderstorm in play. Let's look at our opening hand. Oh, so we're doing Sentinel mission here. I figured I did Sabretooth for Wolverine, so we'll go to the next scenario for Storm. Sentinel comes in 2/2, starts with toughness, 16 hit points to start. When revealed, the first player searches the encounter deck and discard pile for a copy of the Abduction Protocols side scheme and reveals it. So we got the Abduction Protocols over here. We'll show what that is. It has 2 threat on it to begin with, and then it gets Hinder 2 as well, and then it goes into the victory display when it's defeated. But when it's defeated, the player who defeated it takes 1 random set-aside captive ally and puts it into play under their control. This is actually one of my favorite scenarios because whenever you get rid of these side schemes over here, it actually helps you progress to get allies and all kinds of fun stuff. So we also have to put in mutants at the mall. That's part of the Night of the Sentinels setup. When defeated, the first player searches the encounter deck and discard pile for a Sentinel minion and reveals it. Flip this card and put Jubilee into play. And then you have Night of the Sentinels. This is kind of the main part of the campaign here. Usually, again, you win by defeating the villain twice and lose by losing to threat on the side scheme, but that is not the way this one's going to work. You have another side scheme in play called Operation Zero Tolerance. It's over here. We'll talk about it next, but Operation Zero Tolerance is how you're going to lose. Now, it is part of its own modular encounter set, but in this scenario specifically, it can never leave play. Normally, you could just get rid of it, but in this scenario, it's always in, and it's going to be our loss condition. So forced response. After threat is placed here, if there are at least 5 per player threat here, the first player places the top card of their deck face down under Operation Zero Tolerance and removes 5 threat per player from this scheme. So it's only going to remove 5. So if you put 10 on there, it's going to pop twice, which is not great. Force response. So this is Operation Zero Tolerance. This can be our loss condition. After the enemy attacks and defeats an ally, place that ally face down under the scheme. If there are X face down cards under the scheme, the players lose the game where X is 3 more than number of players. So if we ever get 4 cards under here, either by allies or Night of the Sentinels, then we are going to lose. But this is not about the villain here. This is about us and what we can do. So let's see. We got Mansion X, Alter Ego, heal a damage from a mutant. You control, which seems real good, but maybe not because we also have Storm's Cape, which seems even better. +1 defense and the aerial trait Hero Response. After you resolve the special ability of your weather support, exhaust Storm's cape to ready Storm. So that gives Storm an extra opportunity to attack, thwart, whatever you want to do. Definitely playing that turn 1. So we got X-Mansion. We also got Endurance. You may recognize this card. It's got Wolverine on it, +3 hit points. Mirage, who is an ally over here. After Mirage enters play, choose an enemy whose scheme is less than Mirage's thwart. We don't have one right now because the Sentinel is equal to Mirage's thwart of 2, and stun that enemy. So yeah, probably not playing her at the beginning. Ooh, we have another ally. We got Havoc. When Havoc attacks, discard the top card of the encounter deck. For each boost icon discarded this way, Havoc gets +1 for the attack, and he takes 1 consequential damage. So he gets +1 attack and 1 per boost icon. Now, interestingly, he takes 0 consequential damage normally. So the more damage he ends up doing, the more consequential damage he'll end up taking. Could end up even taking 3 right away. I mean, you're hoping for 0 boost icon cards, so you can just keep plinking 2 damage all day. Kind of like Captain America, I guess. He can do this all day. Probably not keeping him either. There's some expensive allies right here. The only thing so far I'm looking to keep is maybe Endurance and definitely Storm's Cape. But Torrent Rain might be worth it. Remove 3 threat from among schemes in play. If Hurricane is in play, resolve its special ability. And Hurricane's special ability is to remove 2 threat from a scheme. So that seems real good with all this threat out here right now. Yeah, I'm going to keep Torrential Rain in play for sure. All right, so I'm discarding 4 cards. Havoc, Mirage, Endurance, and X-Mansion. Let's draw 4 more and see what we end up with. So we got Weather Goddess. Swap your weather support and play with a support of your choice from the weather deck. Resolve the special ability on the weather support in play. So that's a free card. Lets me do that. We got Uncanny X-Men. Play under any player's control. Max 1 team card per player. Each of your allies gets +1 hit point. If your character has the X-Men trait, each of your X-Men allies costs 1 fewer resources to play, which seems real good. But you know what also seems real good? Storm's Crown. Oh my gosh. I just got both of my signature cards. Turn 1, +1 thwart. Hero resource, exhaust Storm's Crown to generate a printed resource on your weather support. So each of the weather supports has a printed resource on it. And then the last one we're going to look at is, to me, my X-Men. Play only if your identity is X-Men trait. Hero action, search the top 5 cards of your deck for an X-Men ally. Put them into play. If that ally is still in play at the end of the phase, add it to your hand. So puts it in play, lets you do stuff with it, and then comes right back to your hand. Now, it does have to be in the top 5 cards of your deck, and you have to pay for it before you know that. All right, so I kind of want the cape. That costs 3. So that'd be 1, 2, 3, which would only leave me 2. All right, so how about the crown? Can I put the crown in for 2, and then Torrential Rain, I think, for 2? And I'm not going to get my cape out early. Which one is that one again? Oh, after you resolve the specialty weather support, you ready Storm. Oh, that is real good to discard turn 1. But, oh, I can generate a resource with Storm's Crown, so I can hold on to the cape and still play Torrential Rain. All right, so that's what we're going to end up doing. All right, so we are going to start on Thunderstorm because it doesn't really matter. We are going to flip over. Now, let's see, actually. I'm going to fort for 4, 5, 6, 7, and there's 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. So actually, me thwarting for 1 would be useful. All right, so going to put my crown in. Storm gets +1 thwart. Exhaust Storm's Crown to generate the printed resource of her weather support. So I'm just going to spend any 2 for that. Doesn't matter as long as it's not Storm's Cape. So I'm going to go at, or Torrential Rain, both of which I want to hold on to. So I am now +1 to my thwartness, and I can exhaust my crown to generate whatever resource is on this, which right now is lightning. All right, so I'm going to exhaust myself because I believe when I do Torrential Rain, remove 3 threat. If Hurricane's in play, resolve the special. Oh no, I'm not going to ready myself anyway. So at this point, it doesn't matter. I don't want the +1 attack. I mean, I kind of do. I could attack for 3, but he's tough anyway, so it doesn't really matter. I'm going to go ahead and switch to Hurricane. Here I am. Rock you like a hurricane. Hurricane's a permanent. Each character gains Retaliate 1 and special remove 2 threat from a scheme. So let's go ahead and do that. We are going to remove 2 threat from Abduction Protocols. Boom, boom. And then we are going to, I get to thwart for 2, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Storm's going to thwart for 2 because of her Storm's Crown. Remove 2 over here, and this becomes a victory card. When defeated, the player who defeats this searches for a set aside captive. So let's go ahead and do that. There are 4 captives that come with this scenario, and puts it into play under their control. I got Wolfsbane, which is not necessarily lucky, but we'll say lucky because it feels lucky. So Wolfsbane is awesome because 2 attack, piercing, and piercing is good when there's a Sentinel with armor. So we're going to go ahead and use Wolfsbane to attack for 2, which gets rid of that toughness and knocks the Sentinel from 16 hit points down to 14 hit points, which seems like how you're supposed to win the game. So now I'm going to use my Storm's Crown to generate a Fist resource. And then I'm going to discard Weather Goddess, which just lets me change my weather a second time, but I don't need to play Torrential Rain. So as a reminder, the way Torrential Rain works, it's a hero action, remove 3 threat from among all schemes in play. If Hurricane's in play, resolve its special. And it is in play, which is remove 2 threat from a scheme. So I'm going to remove 1 here and 2 here. That's 3 threat from all schemes from Torrential Rain. And then we resolve our Hurricane ability, which removes 2 more. When defeated, the first player searches the encounter deck and discard pile for a Sentinel minion. Oops, forgot about that part of it. And then we flip this and put Jubilee into play. I'll let you look at Jubilee while I look for a Sentinel minion that I actually want to deal with. Now, do I reveal that? Discarding Jubilee just for a Sentinel minion and reveals it. Yes, so it does end up getting revealed. Let's see what we have here. When revealed, if Operation Zero Tolerance is in play, Mark II Sentinel gains Surge. Otherwise, search the encounter deck and discard pile for Operation Zero Tolerance side scheme and reveal it. Well, that doesn't seem like the kind of Sentinel that I want. This is a 3 health toughness. When revealed, search 3 attack. I don't necessarily want that. Search the encounter deck and discard pile for an energy barrier attachment. Yeah, I don't necessarily want that either. Let's see, we got a 2/2 here with Guard and Patrol. While this minion is engaged with you, you can't thwart. Yeah, that one seems like the best option to me. And then I will shuffle up the enemy encounter deck. So it's a Sentinel Mark IV that I'm getting with Guard Patrol. And that's it. No when revealed effects. The boost is to put it into play. Engage with you, but it's got 4 hit points. So not too bad. Not too bad a minion. If you're going to need to put a minion in play, that one's not too bad. So we do have Jubilee on our side now. The first player controls her. She does not count against your ally limit. You can spend a lightning resource to deal 2 damage to an enemy. And she has 1 attack and 1 thwart. And I'm going to put her in play, but I'm actually not going to do anything with her right now. So let's go. And I did hold on to Storm's Cape, which seems good. So +1 defense and a bunch of other stuff. And just as a reminder, everybody has Retaliate. So actually, Wolfsbane would have taken a 2nd damage. That's because of Hurricane. Remember, each character gains Retaliate 1. Not much I could have done about that. So the Sentinel had Retaliate 1, so Wolfsbane took an extra damage. Let's go ahead and ready up and draw up. We have 5 card hand size. Oh, there's a lot of 3-cost cards in my hand and a double resource. Certainly not going to be able to pay for everything, but hopefully I can get something good out next turn. I'm sure of it. All right, so we're going to accelerate this by 1, and it's not quite to 5 yet. Then we're going to have the Sentinel attack me. I am not going to do anything about that. I'm just going to take it with my 10 hit points. So that is 2 attack plus... The target for elimination is attached to an identity. Deal this card to that player as a face down encounter card. But there is no targeted for elimination, so not going to worry about that right now. So I just take the 2 damage, which puts me from 10 down to 8. And then the Sentinel's going to attack for 2. Oh, and retaliate 1. So actually, they did 2 to me, but I am doing 1 back to them, which seems not terrible. So that Mark IV Sentinel is going to attack me as well. I will go down to 6 hit points. Maybe I should use my allies, but I'm not going to yet. So down to 6 hit points, and then I am going to retaliate on that Mark IV, which seems good. All right, although I probably don't want to stay on this retaliate side. It's not making me that happy. I gotta be honest. All right, so let's see the cards we got. We already know what our cape is. It's +1 defense, and after you resolve weather support ability, you get to ready yourself, which seems good because a lot of these trigger the weather supports. We also have Blast of Wind. Choose a player. Deal 3 damage to the villain and each minion engaged with that player. Resolve the special ability of your weather support. Holy moly, that seems really good too. Genius, of course, which is double resource. Uncanny X-Men makes all of our allies cost 1 less to play. That doesn't seem likely to get played. X-Jet is also really good. Exhausted to generate a wild resource for a player whose identity is the X-Men trait. There are so many choices here. I think I'm going to go for the Blast of Wind. But first, I'm going to change. So I'm going to change from Hurricane, which we had, to Thunderstorm. Gives everybody +1 attack and +2 damage to the enemy. So we're going to resolve that that 2 damage to the enemy. They will go down to 11. And then, not going to get my cape out this turn, so I'm going to just do Blast of Wind over here. Cost 3. I got 3 mental resources over here to pay for it. Hero action, choose a player, deal 3 damage to the villain, and each minion engaged with that player, resolve the special event of the weather. So, this Mark IV Sentinel, which had 1 damage and 4 life, gets blowed up. By the way, guard means can't be attacked, but this special is not an attack, it's just deal 2 damage. Same with this hero action, deal 3 damage. So it has nothing to do with an attack, so it gets by all this stuff. So we already defeated that, but let's take 3 damage off of the Sentinel, and we get to resolve the special again of Thunderstorm, which deals another 2 damage. So that seems good, down to 6 life. Then we are going to discard X-Jet. I know, it's sad, but we're going to use the lightning resource here to trigger Jubilee's ability. So just as a reminder, it is an action to exhaust Jubilee and spend a lightning resource to deal 2 damage to an enemy. We're going to go ahead and do that. So I'm going to use Jubilee over here. She does not take consequential damage for that because it's an action. So that is 2 more damage on the villain, who was at 6 and is now down to 4. Then I am going to go ahead and attack with Storm. She attacks for 2 normally, but it'll be 3 because of Thunderstorm. She puts the villain down to 1. And I think I'm going to sit here with the villain at 1. Oh, I can exhaust this, and I could have gotten a resource. So I could have gotten the lightning from this, and then I could have held on to X-Jet and Storm's cape. Yeah, let's go ahead and say I did that instead, and I'm going to keep X-Jet in my hand, because Thunderstorm's resource, not surprising to anybody, is a lightning bolt or energy. So I can use that to generate the resource for Jubilee. I'm going to keep Wolfsbane and not attack with Wolfsbane, although I don't necessarily want to chump either, because every time I chump, that ally goes under Operation Zero Tolerance. So we'll see. I'm going to hold my cape, I'm going to hold X-Jet, and I'm going to hope that I get some stuff that lets me pay for both. But probably not, because I had a double resource that turn, and it feels like you're never going to get that many double resources. And it makes 6 life. There isn't much threat on the scheme, but at the same time, I don't mind losing Wolfsbane, but I think I want to hold Wolfsbane 1 more turn, because I'm assuming the next Sentinel is tough as well. They are, so I'm going to actually hold Wolfsbane for 1 more turn. So I am going to end up defending myself, or just taking it, really. I have 6 life left. I can take it. We'll go ahead and add a threat to the main scheme. I'm going to get attacked by the Sentinel for 2, plus 1 more, for a total of 3. I can handle that. Oh, plus 1 because of the Thunderstorm. That was almost really bad. I totally forgot about my own Thunderstorm. That if that was a 3 boost, I would have been killed there. But it wasn't, and I wasn't. So let's look at the encounter card and see what happens. Targeted for elimination, attached to your identity. If a copy of Targeted for Elimination is not attached to you otherwise, this card gains Surge. While you're engaged with a Sentinel minion, you cannot change hero form to alter ego form. Action, exhaust your identity to discard this card. Okay then, well, I'm not engaged with a Sentinel, so right now it doesn't really matter. Although I do want to flip because I am sitting at 2 hit points. But let's look at what my cards are. In hand, we got Utopia. Each ally has the X-Men trait, increase the ally limit by 1. And after an X-Men ally enters play, exhaust it to ready an X-Men character. That's really good. Torrential Rain. I am on Thunderstorm, so that might be where I am. Nope, that's a thwarting event. Remove 3 threat from among all schemes in play. We don't need that. Let's see what Flash Freeze is. That's the defensive card. And this is a defensive event. When the villain attacks you, the villain and each minion engaged with you gets -3 attack while attacking you this phase. If Blizzard is in play, resolve its special ability. You know what? This is a defensive event. I should have played that. Sorry, I am retconning that, and I am going to go ahead and say I discarded Torrential Rain to play that, to take 3 less damage. So instead of taking 4 last turn, I would have taken 1 damage. So I would have gone from 6 to 5. Sorry, I'm going back on that. I did not realize I had defensive cards in this deck. I should have, because I did the unboxing, but totally spaced on it. So I will remember that from now on. Unfortunately, I don't have the Blizzard in play, so I can't resolve its special effect. So I'm basically down to same 3 cards. Well, not same 3, but I got Utopia, which is just amazing to ready yourself. But I'm not really a heavy ally deck, I don't think. I got Exhaust X-Jet to just generate a wild resource. But this is the one I think I'm going with. Storm gets +1 defense and gains the aerial trait. Hero response, after you resolve the special ability on your weather support, you can ready Storm so she can activate again. So I'm a 2/2/2 right now because I start with +2 attack. Actually, because of Thunderstorms, I'm a 3 attack right now. But I got +1 thwart from my crown, and my cape will give me another +2. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to go ahead and exhaust the crown to get the lightning resource from Thunderstorm. I'm going to use that to play the cape, and I got to discard these 2 cards as well. So we got our cape, we got our crown, we are all set. We're going to have Jubilee attack and do that 1 last point of damage. She will take consequential damage for doing that, and that will defeat the Sentinel. So we go from the level 1 Sentinel that has toughness to the level 2 Sentinel, which does attack for 1 more, but has steady and tough. So we'll go ahead and put a tough counter on there. When revealed, the first player searches the encounter deck and discard pile for a copy of Abduction Protocols. So we get another Abduction Protocols, which means we get to potentially save another ally and bring them into play. But this is the moment I save Wolfsbane for. So we will definitely be using Wolfsbane to poke off that tough. I am targeted for elimination myself. You know what? I'm going to exhaust myself to discard targeted for elimination. I just don't want to have enemies popping up on me. Can't forget to put threat on Abduction Protocols when I put that one into play. So let's see. How do I want to do this? Wolfsbane is going to attack. When Wolfsbane attacks, he takes another consequential damage, but does 2 damage and piercing. This villain would have had 18 health, not 1 health. I was like, wait, what is going on here? So 18 health goes down to 16 health with the 2 damage from Wolfsbane. Now, Wolfsbane is defeated, but if you remember, Operation Zero Tolerance doesn't care if you defeat yourself, only if you block with that. So after an enemy attacks and defeats an ally, place that ally face down under this. The enemy didn't defeat it. Wolfsbane just died of natural causes here, being that from attacking. He just got tired of attacking and decided to go home. And then we're going to go ahead. We still haven't done that yet. We're going to change where we are from. We currently have a Thunderstorm. I'm going to change that to something that thwarts for me, which is a Hurricane. Here I am. Each character gains Retaliate 1 and remove 2 threat from a scheme. So we'll do that from Abduction Protocols. We'll remove 2 threat. And then because I have my cape, Hero Response. After you resolve the special ability of your weather support, exhaust Storm's cape to ready Storm. So we'll exhaust that. I will ready Storm. She has 2 thwart, because of the crown, so she does have 2 thwart, we will get rid of abduction protocols. Boom, boom. This goes to the victory display. We get another random ally put into play, who is Cannonball. Cannonball takes -1 consequential damage after he attacks and defeats a minion. Well, he ain't attacking a minion, that is for sure. I'm not sure that he's attacking Sentinel either, though, because I don't necessarily want to take Retaliate 1 right now. Gotta be honest. Because I can change it next turn to the one that gives us plus damage, and then I got that going for me. Alright, so I'm going to ready up. I am going to draw my 5 cards. Ooh, Flash Freeze. So remember, that's a defensive event. Can't forget that. That's -3 damage. I got Effective Leadership, Wind Blast, Uncanny X-Men, X-Men to me. Ooh, Wind Blast was a good one. I remember that. But I do want to play Flash Freeze, probably. So just a reminder, when the villain attacks you, the villain and each minion engaged with you get -3 to their attack while they're attacking you. Seems good. If Blizzard is in play, resolve its special ability, which it is not going to be. To me, my X-Men is what I would probably use to pay for it. Play only if your identity is X-Men. Search top 5 cards of your deck for an X-Men ally. I mean, I'd love to do that, but I don't want to gamble right now on getting an ally. So Flash Freeze is in my plans for this turn, but first things first, we're going to have to add threat to the main scheme. Then the Sentinel is going to attack me for 3. I'm just going to take it, planning on playing Flash Freeze. I only have 5 health, so that'll probably be necessary. No, advance. So that is +0 boost icons. I'm still going to play Flash Freeze, I believe. Yes, I will. So to make it -3 attack while attacking you this phase. So the whole phase, Sentinel's got 0 attack. So I sit on my 5 health and that doesn't go down, which seems good. And I don't have to exhaust to defend or anything else. All right, so let's go ahead and look at the top card. Mutant Detection. When revealed, choose. Place the top card of your deck face down under Operation Zero Tolerance. Okay, or the villain and each minion engaged with you attacks you, even if you're an alter ego. Well, he's -3 attack for this turn, so we'll have him attack me. I mean, I still deal with the boost card, but is what it is. Boost, if the target for elimination is attached to your identity, deal this card to the player as a face down encounter card. Nope. That does not happen, because I got rid of that targeted for elimination Bull Maduki. All right. So let's look at the 3 cards that I still have in my hand. We got Wind Blast, which is great. Deal 3 damage to the villain, each minion engage with you. Resolve the special of your weather, and I can make my weather the one that deals 2 damage. So that's probably what I'm going to end up doing. We got Effective Leadership. When you spend this to play an ally, it gets +1 thwart and attack till the end of the phase. And then we have play under any player's control. Your X-Men get +1 hit point and become cheaper. All right, so I'm going to play Wind Blast. I'm going to pay these 2, and then I'm going to use, well, I'm not playing it yet. Let's be smart about this. So the villain has Retaliate right now, but I'm just going to deal with that. Well, no. You know what? I'm going to thwart for 2. Don't think I'm winning this turn. So I'm going to thwart for 2. I may regret that later if I fail to defeat them by 1 damage. But we will see. I don't think that's going to be the issue. All right, so we're going to go from... Well, I'll do this so you can see it better. We're going to go from Hurricane to Thunderstorm, which deals 2 damage and gives all characters +1 attack. Considering how many characters I have in play, seems like a good idea. And getting rid of Retaliate on a turn I'm planning on attacking quite a bit. So that 16 life goes down to 14. And we're going to need that health dial quite a few more times here in a second, because we're about to do Wind Blast. So I have to use my crown to do that. Use my crown and these other 2 cards I had. So that's a total of 3 costs to Wind Blast. That's 3 damage to the villain. And then we activate the Thunderstorm again. So that's 2 more damage for a total of 5. So 14 goes down to 9. And remember, whenever we activate the ability of the thing, we can exhaust our cape and ready ourselves. I probably should have done that earlier when I originally chose Thunderstorm, but I decided not to. Sorry that the card was covering all the stuff I did, but basically I exhausted the cape to ready Storm. And we're just going to attack away. So Jubilee's going to attack for 2. That 9 becomes a 7. Boom, boom. Boom, 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 boom. So Cannonball is going to attack for 2 +1, so that would be 3. 1, 2, 3. Hey, remember earlier how I said I'm going to really kick myself if I could have defeated the enemy with that extra 2 attack that I had? Well, yeah, time to start kicking. It's fine. Storm's going to go ahead and attack for 3 damage. So that 4, boom, 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 goes down to 1. And yes, I could have won there, but I didn't. I retcon a lot of stuff. I'm not going to retcon that just because. Let's look at some more cards that come out. And I have 2 chumpers, so I'm not terribly concerned. And I have 0 cards under Operation Zero Tolerance. Let's see. Ooh, we got Gentle over here. We got Weather Goddess, which we know what that does. We got Pixie. We got a leadership skill. We got Endurance. So no real attack cards. Weather Goddess does let me change again. So I could change away from Thunderstorm and use Weather Goddess to switch right back to Thunderstorm, which might be kind of nice. And just plink for the 2 damage no matter what's going on the board. All right, well, let's go ahead and resolve the enemy turn. We're going to go ahead and add 1 threat. So Sentinels, or the Knight of Sentinels is up to 2. Now Sentinel will attack. I'm going to block with Cannonball. So that's 3 attack plus a boost of 1. So 4 attack plus my Thunderstorm is 5 attack. So good thing I didn't just take that to my face. Cannonball, though, does go under Operation Zero Tolerance because they were defeated by an attack. Then we're going to go ahead and get our encounter card, which is the Villain Schemes. So the villain's going to scheme for 2 plus a boost card of 3. Holy moly, that's 5. Boom, right at the gate. 5 threat being placed on, well, let's see if I can get it on the scheme. There's 5 threat on the scheme. All right, so the way this works is after threat is placed here, if there's at least 5 per player on here, the first player places the top card of their deck face down under Operation Zero Tolerance. Well, let's see what that is. That is Forge. That is another ally. Response after Forge enters play, search your deck and discard pile for an X-Men or X-Force support and add it to your hand. Sweet, but it is going under Operation Zero Tolerance. So now there's 2 cards out of the 4 we need to lose under there. And then we remove 5 threat per player from there. So there we go. That 5 threat that was on here, right over there, is now removed. Anyway, I'm getting a kick out of this, by the way. You could tell. This is my first time I'm kind of playing with the green screen. I'm playing with a lot of stuff. Bottom line is, yeah, this is my first time playing around with this stuff. I haven't done many streams with like the live equipment here. It's a little bit hard to navigate everything, but I am having fun with it for sure. So that is the end of the villain phase, right? They already attacked me. Then we did an encounter card, which was the advance, which put 5 threat on there, which put another one of my cards underneath. Back to my turn. I have plenty of stuff I can do. Let's look at the cards I have. I got Pixie. After you play Pixie from your hand, add an X-Men ally from your discard pile to your hand. Seems good. Weather Goddess can let me change forms. So let's go ahead and change. We're on the +2 attack one right now. I'm not going to use Weather Goddess. I'm just going to do my normal form change to Clear Skies. Each character gains Stalwart, and I get to draw a card. That's really good because Stalwart means if you've got something on you, you can just get rid of it. So that's great. I mean, Storm is a very cool support character. I'm really enjoying her. Got a double resource there. Leadership skill. What is this? 3 uses. Interrupt when an ally makes a basic thwart or attack action. Remove a leadership counter from here. The ally gets +1 attack and thwart for that action. That's pretty good, although Jubilee is basically dead. Ooh, Gentle is not so gentle with 3 attack. Gentle takes +1 consequential damage after he attacks the villain. Well, yep, that's what's going to happen. And we got an endurance here as well. So we are going to, well, let's just do Weather Goddess. Let's just win it that way. I was going to have Gentle come in and win, but no, I'm the Weather Goddess. I'm going to swap forms. I'm going to go back to Thunderstorm. Reminder, Thunderstorm says, deal 2 damage to an enemy. And guess what? The enemy only has 1 life left, so that 2 damage kills the Sentinel. I am the Weather Goddess. That's the way Storm should win every time. I just threw that card on the floor because I was so excited. Boom, boom, boom. All right. Wow. I thought Wolverine was a lot of fun, and Wolverine was a lot of fun, But man, that was fun. I mean, I got super lucky. I got Storm's Crown and Storm's Cape out early. Definitely Storm's Crown having an extra, not only an extra thwart, but an extra resource is really good. But being able to choose which of these forms you want and really working with your teammates to figure that out. And it's an action also. So you can switch it in the middle of another player's turn. So that is really neat. I love this. The one thing I worry about is I did notice there are some environments, and especially with the Mojo Madness, I mean, earmuffs, I guess, if you don't hear this, but there are some environment cards that'll be in play there. And I do worry that it'll be a lot to remember this environment, your own personal or her personal environment. I guess she's going to be the one responsible for that, and somebody else could pay attention. But in a solo game, it seems like there's just going to be a lot of stuff going on. But I just had a blast with this deck. I didn't even get through it. Again, if you want to see me go through every card one by one, I do that in the unboxing. But let's just see now that I played it. Oh, we didn't even see this. I had 2 lightning bolts. Boom, boom. Bottom 2 cards of my deck. Deal 8 damage to an enemy. If Thunderstorm's in play, resolve its special, which would be another 2 damage. So it's 10 damage for 3. Pretty good. We got our Garden. This is the card we previewed for them, which is just exhaust it to heal 2 damage from your identity. That's really good for her, actually, because she doesn't have much reason to go alter ego, except for the fact she only has 10 life and 1 defense to start the game. So she's going to need it, especially early on if she gets it, before she gets her defensive upgrade. It'll keep her alive. So to me, my X-Men, we saw, look at the top 5 cards. Leadership skill gives them +1 attack and thwart. Weather Goddess, we've seen. Torrential Rain, remove 3 threat from among schemes in play, and you get to choose how to do that. And if Hurricane's in, you get to remove that 2 more threat. She can really do it all. I mean, she is an effective leadership. When you use it to pay for an ally, it's +1/+1. We've seen all those cards. So my final thoughts on Storm after one play with a pre-constructed deck against an enemy that I find fairly straightforward and fairly easy, even easier than Sabretooth a lot of times. I find this to be the easiest encounter in the set, at least for me. And it is, I did play standard as well. So all these things to keep in mind, but I just had so much fun. I do feel like she's going to spend a lot of time, and I guess it depends. This might be a solo thing also, between bouncing between Thunderstorm. Clear Skies is okay. Certainly, if you get stunned and or confused, it's great. Blizzard, if you have a non-elite minion that has some crazy text you need to get rid of, is good, but a lot of times it's when revealed text that really mess you up. I guess it's good for getting by guard or patrol if you really need to. A -1 attack is pretty good, though. You can keep the villain off guard and then you switch back. So, I mean, each of them I see having a home, but really removing 2 threat and or dealing 2 damage just seems really good. And getting that retaliate, like after you're done all your attacks, you switch to retaliate. Then before you go, you get the +1 attack and you do 2 free damage. I don't know, just seems real good. But I did really enjoy her. I'll be honest. These X-Men are some of my favorite heroes, and I know it's funny because I say this when every set comes out, but they really do outdo themselves every time. There might be a little power creep here. I haven't been able to figure it out yet, whether they're just really good. I don't know. They just keep reinventing themselves. This Storm deck is really fun to play with. Yeah, I don't know. When I go back, because Spider is still one of my favorite heroes to play with as well, and so I always thought that he was a little bit overpowered, but as I play with him more, I definitely see the weaknesses come out. I definitely see the starting stats for Storm as a weakness, 1/2/1. Certainly she can get to 2/2/2, but if she's not getting her crown or her cape anytime early, I could definitely see her running into problems. Her cards are very expensive. You know, they are super expensive. 3 cost when you really don't have a resource generator, if you don't get out your Storm's Crown, is pretty expensive. I mean, that's 4 of the 5 cards she has in her hand. So while she's really good and has a lot of utility cards, I think she's a good across the board hero, can thwart, can attack, really can do whatever she wants to do, and she can be used basically with any aspect. It feels like, maybe not protection, but outside of protection, it feels like she'd be pretty good in any aspect. I had a lot of fun with her, and I look forward to exploring her more as well. So yeah, I mean, they're knocking it out of the park. Both of these heroes, Wolverine, Storm, really fun. Can't wait to play Mojo Madness. It seems like it's going to be on the difficult side, so it'll be curious to play with these heroes, which I think are on the good side. and kind of see how that feels playing it through. But anyway, I appreciate you hanging out with me today, and I will talk to you soon. Don't forget to go check out the unboxing video on One Stop Co-op Shop streamed. If you love Marvel Champions, join us every Friday night. We stream live. Join us for that. Join our Discord channel. We have a Fantasy Flight living card game section, and we also have our general chat. We really talk a lot about Marvel Champions over there. I've had a blast with both of these heroes so far. Really good addition to the game. Anyway, have fun, and we will see you soon. Bye!